drug tests will soon be mandated by the ESL for all of their large tournaments. An exploit in the Steam account recovery system was allowing anyone to reset passwords on Steam accounts, and Solitaire on Windows 10 has a monthly subscription fee. What do these stories mean to you? My name is Mooseman, and I'm here to inform you of that very fact on this week's episode of PC Gaming News Weekly. The Electronic Sports League announced earlier this week that it would be testing for performance-enhancing drugs, specifically Adderall, starting in August at their ESL 1 Corona event, and continuing at each of their top tournaments, including IEM and the ESEA Pro League competitions. Esports is getting bigger and bigger, and with prize pools and sponsors increasing rapidly each year, it is important to ensure that everyone has an equal chance to win based on their skill. The International Dota 2 Championship that started with an unprecedented $1.6 million prize pool back in 2011 has grown to over $17 million in the course of 4 years. League of Legends, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Smite, Street Fighter, and many other games have all sprung up as prominent esports as more and more viewers rely on Twitch TV and other video streaming service sites as their primary form of sports-based entertainment. Esports is no longer a small niche hobby as it used to be 20 years ago. It has become a huge international business with millions of dollars invested and on the line. And as with that growth, organizers need to step up and ensure that players who are winning these millions of dollars and contracts with sponsors are doing so based on their own skill and not on the enhanced focus that Adderall and similar amphetamines provide. While I am completely for creating as fair of an environment as possible for esports gamers, one thing that is not generally talked about are players that genuinely need Adderall and other drugs that would be considered performance enhancing to function mentally. Mental illness is something that needs to be seriously addressed in affected people to allow them to live healthy lives regardless of their occupation. The problem is that, at least in America, it is becoming easier and easier for pretty much anyone, especially teens and young adults, to get diagnosed with a mental disability such as ADHD in order to get prescriptions for drugs, since there are no definitive tests for these kinds of illnesses. Just knowing what to say to a doctor can get you a prescription, and for professional gamers, a potential edge on the competition. That being said, while this may come out as a bit controversial, I agree with the ESL preventing anyone, diagnosed or not, from participating in tournaments while using any drug deemed performance enhancing. These competitions are going to be the future of entertainment, as more and more people cut cable out in favor of relying solely on the internet for entertainment. The scale of these events is closing in on that of athletic sports, and in a few years may even match or surpass them as generations of gamers who grew up with YouTube and esports become the majority of the population. To keep the esports scene legitimate, there needs to be rules that prevent anyone from gaining an advantage by using substances. Will this result in some professionals being unable to play because they legitimately have a mental illness? Of course. But these kinds of sacrifices are going to have to be made if esports is going to become more of a mainstream form of entertainment. Earlier this week, an exploit in Steam was discovered that allowed people to take control of other gamers' accounts using the password reset system. While the exploit has been patched, the way the exploit worked is the most alarming issue. When resetting a password, normally a code is sent to your email that is required to reset your password. But during the period when the exploit was available, there was absolutely no code required. You could simply leave the area blank and it would allow you to reset anybody's password. Although these issues have been fixed, there are potentially massive ramifications for users who are unaware that their account has been hacked. As a protection measure against hacking, Steam prevents any kind of trading or selling of items for 5 days after a password reset. However, there are potentially people who are completely unaware of the exploit and could have their items stolen if they do not retrieve their account within the 5-day time limit. This is absolutely unacceptable coming from Valve. As Steam becomes more and more powerful with the growing popularity of PC gaming, this bug represents an error equivalent to that of an ATM allowing access to a bank account without a PIN number. Many people save their credit card information in Steam in addition to having hundreds if not thousands of dollars worth of inventory items. This problem is another blunder that adds to the notion that Valve is incapable of running a service as big and influential as Steam. Valve pulls in billions of dollars annually with Steam, and yet it is becoming increasingly clear that very little of this money is being put into improving the experience of the customer. Terrible customer service and absolute refusal to regulate their market market against games that are anywhere from borderline to completely unplayable, and exploits like the one that happened recently are things that Valve needs to fix and prevent. Windows 10 has been officially released and come under some controversy revolving around the bundled game Solitaire. Anyone that has used a Windows PC in the past 20 years has seen or played the included Solitaire game in their spare time. Windows 10 Solitaire has ads and a monthly subscription of $2 or a yearly subscription of $10 to get rid of ads, in addition to adding some bonus perks related to achievement badges. So this story has been popping up a lot with Windows 10 becoming available to the general public, but it's actually not as bad as people are making it out to be. First off, ads have been in Solitaire since Windows 8 already. The only difference is that the game was available through the Windows App Store and not directly bundled into the OS like Windows 10. Secondly, the ads in the game are completely out of the way in the main menu and in the end score screen only, meaning they don't block or interrupt gameplay in any way. While I do understand the people that are hesitant about Microsoft including ads into any of their software, people are making this a way bigger deal than it needs to be. The ads are really not harming anyone or impeding the game in any way. If you are truly set on an ad-free Solitaire experience, you can edit your host files to block ads from Microsoft entirely. That wraps up this week's episode of PC Gaming News Weekly. Although it wasn't an extremely positive news week, I would like to hear your opinion on these topics in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this series, and you can check out my channel for more reviews and other gaming commentary.